Mary is not only beautiful, but also clever. John visited not only France, but also Spain. Not only does she play football, but also golf. In today's video, we're going to learn how to correctly use the expression not only, but also with examples, so that you sound like a natural English speaker. I'm Ben, and this is Talk Speak English, the channel that helps you learn English step by step with real-life examples, so that you can speak English with confidence. Before we go any further, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Are you ready? Let's get to the video. So to begin, when do we use the expression not only but also? We use the expression not only but also when we want to talk about two things. And we use this expression when we want to emphasize those two things in a bit more detail. The good thing about this structure is that it can be used both in formal and informal situations. Mary is not only beautiful, but also clever. So here we have the adjectives beautiful and clever. Now, of course, we could just say Mary is beautiful and clever. But remember, when we use this not only but also structure, we are telling the listener that we want to emphasize both of these things. With not only X but also Y, we have to make sure that the two things are related in some way. So in this example, we can see that both the adjectives are positive and describe Mary in a positive way. Pedro's not only rude, but also mean. In the same way here, we have two negative adjectives which describe Pedro in a negative way. Mark is not only smart, but also ugly. So here's an example of the structure being used incorrectly, because we have the adjective smart, which is positive, and the adjective ugly, which is negative. Remember, when we use this structure, we want to have two things that are parallel or similar. The X and the Y need to be parallel or related in some way. Now, interestingly with this structure, if we want to add even more emphasis, we can add the not only to the start of the phrase. Not only does she like the artist Katy Perry, but also Taylor Swift. With not only but also, we can also use nouns like in this example. One thing to note here is that if we use not only at the start of the phrase, we have to use the auxiliary verb or helping verb do, and we need to conjugate it in the correct way depending on the subject or the tense. Not only did he eat a cheeseburger, but also a Big Mac. So here we are talking about something that happened in the past. And as we can see, the auxiliary verb do is conjugated in the past simple form. Also notice when the subject doesn't change in the example, we don't need to repeat the subject in the second but also part of the phrase. So just to recap, if we use not only at the start of the phrase, remember we need to add the auxiliary verb do to help us. Now, if the main verb is be, like in this example, then we don't need to use the auxiliary verb do. And the fun thing about this expression is that we can use it in any tense that we like. Here we have a great example of it being used in the future tense. Not only will I improve my English by subscribing to Talk Speak English, but also my vocabulary. So there we are, guys. There is a very quick grammar lesson for you there on how to correctly use the not only but also structure in English. If you have any questions or you would like to practice this structure, please feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.